black woman, if you know you weighing too heavily on your king, go find you a surrogate dad. Go find you an elder, somebody who's too old to want something from you, and ask him, can he be that person that can give you honest advice and a hug when you need it? And the same thing with men. Because for men who didn't have their mother, not only do they look for women to fulfill those needs, Nick, but you know what else? They become the domestic abusers. If you were to interview men who abuse their women of any race, but we're talking about us, you will find that disproportionately, they were either abandoned by their mothers or abused by their mothers in some way. They carry that pain in them. It never went away. And guess what? When the girlfriend starts letting them down and disappointing them,
it's transferred to her.
The transference from the mother. And I don't know if you know this, well, you probably do because you read the news. We dealing with an epidemic of black men killing black women, choking them, killing it. We never did that. We never did that. And now we doing it. Going back to your mental health piece. Black men, because we are the most oppressed, we're the most traumatized. But you know what else? Because of our definitions of masculinity, which says a man can't be vulnerable to get help, we're the least likely to go get some damn help. Black men are in pain, but we cover it up with the exterior. But when we get behind the privacy of our door in our home, we let all that pain out on the only person who loves us unconditionally, and that's the woman. You see, I always tell people this. If you don't like you, why are you expecting him to like you? Why are you looking for a relationship if you ain't got one with yourself first? You don't like yourself. Why are you shopping for? If you don't like yourself, why would anybody else like you? You don't even like you.
You don't like yourself, and you looking
I'm
for
supposed to spend the rest of my life with you? That's insane.
All right. My black
Nick can't act like he listening to that. He literally like, nigga, I know. He just repeating them just to let him know that, look, I'm really not listening to you, but I'm gonna repeat what you said so you can't tell that I just dozed off into some imagination. I ain't gonna lie, I've done that shit before.
Yeah, he was thinking about having some more kids.
Anybody want to respond to?
Well, just I you know how I'm a male advocate. I fight for the men, you know, and so when I be hearing stuff, now listen, he's right. Black people are statistically the highest to be subject to domestic violence. But the thing is, I mean, of all from other races and whatnot, except for New York. In New York, Hispanics beat the blacks in terms of domestic violence. And then comes white people and Asians, that's almost double less than us. But it's male to women. I mean, it's male to female and then also female to male. But we seem to only ever talk about the male to female side. And so I just want to throw this out there, JR, because I know I've been talking a lot tonight, that when we talk about domestic violence, don't just talk about it from, don't play Color Purple movie on me. Don't tell me about Mr. Don't go out there talking about Seeley and all these victims and these women is out here doing some egregious ass shit to men too. Now, maybe men don't talk about it because maybe, you know, it's like nobody wants to be, you know, it's not manly to say that your woman is hitting on you. But a lot of y'all on this panel had a woman put you in a headlock once.
While y'all and nobody fighting. Cares. And nobody cares
that you was put in a headlock. You ain't even going to admit that you was put in a headlock 6 years ago. Or before your wife, or before your last girlfriend.
Shan, do you think it's important what drove a man or agitated a man to where he laid hands on a woman? You think the steps or the intensity leading up to it matter?
I believe in right and wrong. I tell people all the time. Shannon doesn't believe in there's nobody. There's fault in everything. And I like to go back to the genesis of every argument. I tell people all the time, don't come at me talking about what somebody did or how they reacted to what the fuck you did. Don't tell me that, you know, just because they killed an ant with a sledgehammer, tell me what the fuck the ant did. So I believe in right and wrong, especially in relationships. And I want to go back to the genesis of the issue. Okay, what happened first? Who drew first blood? Who said some bullshit first? Who sent the fucked up ass text first? Where y'all was happy and everybody was smiling, who said a stupid ass joke or did something wrong or violated the relationship, and then I get it spiraled out of control. I understand the snowball effect, and then your ass ended up with a black eye. But I want to know who the fuck started it. So yes, I do believe that there's cause and effect in relationships, and I always want to find out who caused the shit before we talk about the effect. A lot of people just want to start at chapter 3 in a domestic violence case. I want to go back to the fucking preface of the book and talk about the very beginning, and then that's how we can get to chapter 3 and all that kind of stuff. Just like court, just no different than court.
Man, like I said, Shannon, to your point, real quick, just Shannon, to your point, women to women abuse is the highest reported period. Woman on woman abuse out of any domestic situation.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. In relationships, I think it's same sex. I was gonna say lesbian. Same sex relationships. Women to women, they be beating each other up like a motherfucker.
But that goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. Those people typically, that's how they feel that they're supposed to love each other. That's what they think love is. I remember I used to date this one chick, and she would literally start fights with me just because. And what I noticed, what it was, is that she was into having makeup sex. Like that was something that just got her off. She wanted to pick a fight, start a fight, just so that we can have makeup sex. And after like the second time I noticed what she was doing, it's like, yo, this not normal. You know what I'm saying? This not what I'm into. You know, that you can pull that with some other nigga, but that's not what I'm into. And of course I had to part ways. But I think that in many cases where we do see these DVs is where both parties they're just simply into that shit, and it may be caught in some type of trauma or neglect or abuse or whatever the case may be, but they just be into it. Like that's how they express themselves to each other.
Because I asked a question on a panel. I was on a panel with a group of women, and they were just going at my neck, demonizing me because I said
you can't say that on Thursdays, bro.
Well, I was trying to focus on what led up to this man hitting this woman, because what I wanted to do is every time we hear the reason why this woman broke up, or the reason why she broke up, or they broke up, is because
why she cheated and all
I had to leave. But it was like there's still a layer that we're not understanding on a compatibility issue that's keeping a man and a woman from being able to thrive in the household. Like, what is the underlying issue? And then you start digging up the real dirt, but nobody wants to talk about that. Sort of like it's similar to what I posed before about the man not being in the house. Like, what is that issue right there? And I think if we can put our finger on that, then we can start moving the needle. But we can't move the needle because we don't know what the fuck is really going on between the man and the woman in these relationships that's causing them to just dip out on each other.
Mm-hmm.